Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another great edition of my Grue Rume Show. And for the Grue Rume Show today, I got a very special guest, and he is an icon in the world of horror. And I'm talking about James Cullen Bressack. And he has made so many horror movies, so many great horror films, and the horror fans love him. I am Rocco Cross. I am the host at Stutters. I am the host of the Grue Room. And my interview with the horror legend himself, James, be coming up very soon. This is my Grue Room, and welcome to my nightmare. Stay tuned. Okay, welcome to Grue, and thank you so much for taking time out of your day and coming on the show, bud.
Thanks for having me on, brother. Sorry, we had a little talk before this for people tuning in, and we were talking about the Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yes,
and
one of the all-time greats.
One of the greats, man. It's the Macho Man Randy Savage. Listen here, brother. Dude, the Macho Man. Oh yeah, dude. The Macho Man was the man. How that man didn't like pop blood vessels every time he talked, I have no clue. But I mean, he has some of the best movie cameos ever too. I mean, like, Spider-Man and Ready to Rumble, dude. Come on. Yeah. Let's go. Ready to Rumble was like my favorite movie growing up. Like,
wait, really?
I had like three. I went through like 3 phases of my childhood, like where I had like favorite movies. And like my first favorite movie was like Ready to Rumble. And then my next favorite movie became like Kill Bill. Yeah. And then my next favorite movie after that became like Sin City.
Nice.
And then after that it became like Old Boy, and it's been Old Boy ever since.
Oh my god, that movie is so good. Like, it's so gory.
Yeah, so like that's been my entire like life of favorite movies. So, but my very first favorite movie ever was Ready to Rumble.
And everybody was in that, like you said, Macho Man and Sting, and Diamond Dallas
Page, man. Goldberg
was in it.
But hey, Jimmy King was in it, dude. Jimmy King. He's the king of rock.
Wasn't that the film after they made the film? Then WCW made David Arquette the world champion.
Yeah, dude. Hey, have you seen that documentary about David Arquette too? No. I mean, David's a great guy, man. Honestly, like I've met David. I've talked with him a lot. He's just an amazing. We almost did a project together that
nice.
Got pushed back. But I mean, David's an amazing guy, and they did this documentary about him as like a wrestler. And I mean, the dude can actually wrestle, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's like the biggest wrestling fan there is. Like
I know.
I gave him one of my wrestling action figures. I gave him my LNJ Jimmy Superfice Snuka.
Yes.
But like he's a big wrestling fan, dude. Like
huge.
The dude really can wrestle. Like you should watch that documentary. I think it's on Hulu, but it's crazy. Yeah.
I know, like I saw some matches he had, because when Luke Perry was still living yet, he used to go around with Luke Perry's son, who's in AEW now, Jungle Boy.
Yeah, wild.
Yeah,
wild.
I mean, Mach is like my top all-time great, but then like the rest of them, like I like Jericho and Undertaker and Sting.
I mean, Undertaker's my favorite of all time, just because, like, my horror roots. Like, how could you not love the Undertaker?
Well,
and then
exactly.
my second favorite has a voice almost very similar to the Macho Man Randy Savage, and that's the Ultimate Warrior.
Yes. Nice. Savage and Warrior, WrestleMania 7 career-ending match.
There you go, man. There you go.
Nice, man. I wanted to start out by asking you, I see you do everything there is to be done with film. Like, you act, you write, you produce, you direct. I know
I
you edit.
I don't really act. I don't really act, man. Like, let's be very clear on that. I don't really act.
Well, I saw you did like your face was in a few films, like you had
Yeah,
like
my
your
face is
cameo.
definitely there, but not my acting. Yeah.
you're you're like a Stephen King, right? Like you have to watch closely and you see you.
Yeah, I try to do like the Hitchcock thing, but like, like I kind of run it like, when they talk about a director's cut, like the very first thing I try to do is like try to cut out the director. Like I try to cut myself out of my own cut. I'm like, I don't like the way I said those lines. you know uh but I try to give myself like like one or two. I try to cameo just like just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely not an actor.
Okay. No,
I feel
like
bad for
what?
my scene partners. I'm like, I was in one scene and like in Murder Anyone, and I was against one of this actor, Maurice LaMarche. I was in the scene, and he said his line, and I'm just staring at him, and I'm like, oh yeah, right. I'm supposed to say a line back to you. I'm so used to watching on the monitor that I'm like just like staring, like, oh yeah, what happens next? Oh yeah, no, I'm supposed to speak.
He was probably like, all right, come on, it's your
Yeah,
line.
yeah. I'm like, oh fuck. No, he was very patient, but I was like, ah, oh, god damn. I suck.
So what drew you to this world? Like what made you want to get involved with, producing, directing, writing?
Insanity. Insanity. A few too many bumps to the head. You know, a whiplash. I don't know. A love of storytelling, a love of film, a love of visual medium, and movies, and what happens in film, and I truly believe that film is the highest art form, and what we're able to do in film, it takes every single art form and combines it. And so we have music and paintings and photography and acting and everything all in one. And it's the highest art form, I believe, and writing, storytelling.
Oh yeah.
And so I come from a a long background of storytellers, and so I was that kid in high school and middle school, and like my teachers would give me a book report, and I would do a short film about why I didn't want to do the book report. I remember I was failing out of chemistry, and my mom was like freaking out, and she was like, oh man, what are you gonna do, like you're failing out of chemistry? And I was like, Mom, relax. I'm not gonna need chemistry when I'm making movies.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
worry
yeah.
about that. I'm gonna make movies. Like I had a one-track mind. I was always actually I didn't always have a one-track mind, because believe it or not, based on our earlier conversation, you would probably believe it, but until I was like about 12 years old, I actually wanted to be a wrestler.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So and my wrestling name was the Sandaled Kid.
The
Which,
Sandal
believe it
Kid.
or not, my production company is called Sandal Kid Productions.
Okay, okay.
So yeah, but
Oh, so you named it after your wrestling name.
yes, I was the Sandaled Kid, which was like I was like a cowboy with sandals. You know what I mean? I don't know. It was weird. I was like 10.
So basically something like Terry Funk, right?
Yeah.
Nice, nice. And one of your like early films, one of your first films was a home in invasion film, hate crime, and like how did you wind up coming up with that? Because I know they like around that time is when like a lot of the films start coming out, like the home in invasion films.
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, like, what's scarier? I mean, honestly, like there's nothing scarier than a home invasion. I mean,
Exactly.
in our lives, there's a lot of things in life that we talk about, but like nothing's scarier than not feeling safe in our own homes. I mean, you
Mhm.
could talk about ghosts, you could talk about this, you could talk about that, but at a core level, what we're afraid of about ghosts is not being safe in our homes.
You're
And
right.
so taking that human element and that unknown element of what would vicious people do in in these circumstances is what's scary, and the how depraved humanity can become. And
Mhm.
I think what we were trying to do is shine a light on the rise in hate crimes in the United States
Yeah, exactly.
during this time, and the rise of anti-Semitism in the United States. And it's amazing because at the time, people said I was overreacting and being crazy, and it was like just propaganda. But now you look at it, and there's people marching through the streets yelling, "The Jews will not replace us," and
Yeah,
there's so many more
exactly.
hate crimes. And I was, we were. It's more relevant now than it ever was. I myself am Jewish, and as a Jewish person, I experienced anti-Semitism most of my life, and
Oh,
so like I saw a lot of this, and I would say, hey, like this is going on. But as non-Jewish people don't really see that as much because it's not happening to them. And if
yeah,
it's
you're right.
happening in the shadows, people don't see it as much. But now with social media and stuff like that, people start to see things more clearly because they're like, oh, wow, stuff is going on. But back
Mhm.
then, social media wasn't as widespread, and it wasn't as big, and it wasn't as big of a mouthpiece, and things were different. And because that movie came out in 2012. I mean, that was 10 years ago. Um,
I know exactly.
and you look at that, and you look at it now, and you tell me if we were off base about the rise of hate crimes. I mean, I think it's only gotten worse.
It actually has like you were saying, like back then it was more quiet because you didn't have all this stuff like the social media pages and people taking videos on their cell phones, and so it was more quiet back then. But now that it's out in the open now because of cell phones and internet, and so yeah, so that's
Yeah.
why that's why the rise is going up now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, that it's interesting because is it a rise, or is it that like, just is it that just, things that were in the shadows are
You're
now
right.
being brought to light,
You're right.
you
You're right.
know?
Exactly.
Is
Exactly.
it that things that already were there and bubbling underneath the surface are now above the surface, you know? I mean, that's something we need to talk about because, this is something that we were sounding the alarm about 10 years ago.
Hmm.
And for me to be making a movie about this 10 years ago meant that like I was seeing it even way before that.
Yeah, that's true.
So and
That's
and
true.
and people were talking about it even before that. So it's
Wow.
it's it's something that I think uh people try to turn a blind eye to what goes on in the world, and but ultimately there's horrible things that go on.
I know. I know. I, it's sad like how all this stuff is going on in the world with hate crimes and home invasions and just all kind of crazy stuff, and like all this stuff is being on phones now, so you get to see it and know what's really
Yeah.
going on in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
definitely. And I wanted to ask you too, like one of my favorite horror series is Jennifer films.
Oh,
And and how did you what inspired you to actually write these films and make them?
I mean, those movies came from a necessity of like wanting to make something, when there were like no resources, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? And like,
yeah,
I really like was like, okay, well, what do you make when you just have like all you have is like a phone and a story? And like, what can you do when all you have is a phone and a story? And like, because like so many interviews, like I said, like, how do you like when people would ask me, like, how do you make a movie? And I would say, like, well, you just go out there and make it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, I made my first movie for $7,000. That's what my Pure Joy was. And like everybody was like, oh, well, like, but then like, so many people would like comment back, well, I don't have $7,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, my first movie, I was like $7,000, like, that's like a really, really low budget movie. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
For a feature. And I was like, well, what do you do if you don't even have $7,000? How do you make a movie? And so like, that's where the Two Jennifer series came from. Like, what do you do if you have literally no money at all? You just have a phone. How do you make that movie? And so that's what that series was.
Wow. Yeah. Cause
Like, what is that if it's just purely acting and story?
Yeah, exactly. 'Cause you shot like the whole movie on your iPhone, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's like 4 of them now, right? There's
I
4.
know,
Yeah.
exactly.
And the last one, I mean, I don't think we're gonna do any more past the 4th one, but like the
Yeah.
last one, I thought the last one was pretty fun. I thought they're pretty fun. They're all on Tubi, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, you even got like one of the biggest horror names in one of the Jennifer movies, Tony Todd.
Oh yeah, yeah. Tony Todd and Derek Mears was in it.
That's
too.
right.
Yeah.
No,
And Felissa Rose.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Past the first one, the budget started, climbing up.
And there's another horror film like I absolutely love it. Like, even though I can't say the name a lot. Pernicious. I don't know if I said it right.
Yeah.
I always say the name right, but I mean wrong. But like, that's a movie I could like always watch because I love how the movie was shot. It was shot in Thailand, and all the different places in Thailand, and the big statue and like everything about that movie I loved, like the gore, the horror, and everything filmed there. Like, how was your trip there?
I was there for a while, man, and it was really gory. It's a gory movie. It was a lot of fun, man. And we shot during like monsoon season, so like, one fun thing about it is like, when they come up to the house on a boat, they were originally supposed to come up to the house in a car, but it got flooded the night before because of like the rain, and so like they came up on a boat instead of the car because that was the front lawn. We're just like, throw a boat on it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's like a place I always wanted to go visit. Always wanted to go see. Like,
Thailand's amazing.
Oh my God. I mean, just from what the scenes you shot for the movie, like, I was like, oh my God, this place looks amazing. Like, what was which spots did you like visiting when you were there?
So we were in Bangkok and Ayutthaya for most of the film.
Okay.
And so like the more rural stuff was in Ayutthaya, and then the more cityscape stuff was in Bangkok. And I personally liked Bangkok more just because in Ayutthaya I got way more mosquito bites.
Okay. And you also helped produce a horror movie with a rock singer that everyone knows, Zandig.
Oh, Glenn Danzig. Yeah, Glenn Danzig.
Danzig, not Zandig.
Yeah,
I don't know what I'm thinking of. So how was it working with him?
Glenn's a close friend, man. Him and I do dinners like once a week or once every other week.
Oh, really?
We did 2 movies together. I love Glenn, man. We're really close. He's a good dude. Him and I him and I have been close for a couple years now, man.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was fun working with him and seeing his mad genius come to life.
Yes. So, when you were working with him, did you ever start like belting out mother?
No, no, not at all. Not at all. He would karate chop me if I did that.
Okay. So you would and you also got to work at I think twice now. You did two horror movies with Shannon Doherty, right?
Yeah, Shannon and I have worked together actually 7 times, man.
Oh, seven times.
Yeah, 7 times.
Wow. So
Yeah.
so yeah, you definitely worked with Shannon a lot. Like I was always like a huge fan of her, Shannon
Her and I actually
Doherty
spoke on the
from
phone today.
Yeah,
We
really.
yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's so
Yeah.
awesome.
Her and I spoke on the phone today about me saying, "Hey Shannon, I got this movie. I want you to come do this new movie with me." So she's reading the script, so hopefully that's about to be 8 times.
Eight.
It
Wow.
might be an eighth time. We'll see. We'll see.
Is is she like the the one you worked with the most, like out of all the people that are in your films?
I don't know. I don't know. I've worked with her a lot. I've worked with Zach Ward a lot.
Okay.
Um, uh, I don't know, but I mean, Shannon and I are just like really close. She's like my best friend. I mean, we
Oh, that's
talk
so
almost every
awesome.
day. So, you know, we're just super tight. And just we just like working with each other. So it's if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Right, exactly, exactly.
She took a gamble on me working with me very very young, and helped my
Yeah.
career when I was very young. We worked together when I was 21. I was like just starting my career, and then
Wow.
she worked with me again on Bethany, which was a serious passion project for
That
me.
was
And
that was a really good movie.
oh, thank you, man,
Yeah.
thank you. And so when we did that, we kind of took a bet on each other, and now we're just like hell or high water. We're working together, so we got this thing, and we're making it work.
Nice, nice. Yeah, because growing up as a kid, like when I watched 90210, her character Brenda was always my favorite. Then in Charm, Prue was my favorite. So any show that Shannon Doherty was part of, her character always stood out to me the most because she brings so much to her roles. Like she puts so much passion in it.
Oh yeah, she's the best. She's the best. She's such a. I mean, she can cry on cue. She's such a consummate professional, hard worker, and just like serious serious talent.
Oh, definitely for sure. And as big of a fan you are of wrestling and horror, have you ever thought about doing a wrestling horror movie?
Yeah, man, I want to do a wrestling horror movie starring The Undertaker. I can't believe that they haven't done one. Like why haven't they done one called The Undertaker where he's like just like, fucking hunting down people trying to bury them alive or something? Like what's going on? Where's that movie?
Hey, I mean,
With
I'm
his
sure the
motorcycle and he's dragging their coffins behind the motorcycle. Like where's this movie?
I'm sure his price tag is gonna be high.
Oh, I'm sure.
So you might be better off getting like Kane.
Yeah, he did the See No Evil movies though. He already did
Right,
his
right,
horror movie.
exactly.
Yeah. He already did his horror. He already's got his horror movies. I need
Yeah,
the
but
Undertaker.
I know you're right. You're right. Like have him in it and the boogeyman. He could come out with eating his worms and
Or I got to do the Bray Wyatt horror movie, man.
yes,
The
I know the
Fiend.
Fiend.
Yeah,
Did you hear like the Fiend might actually be coming back to WWE? They've
they
been teasing
should.
it.
They shouldn't have gotten rid of him. He was good.
I know, exactly, exactly. Well, you know, I'm gonna be waiting for that wrestling horror movie. I'm gonna be waiting for it to say it. And out of all like the horror films you've written, you've done, like is there like one horror film that meant the most to you out of all of them?
Yeah, I think Bethany was my favorite
Okay.
of my horror movies. Of my horror movies, Bethany was my favorite.
Sweet. Okay. Okay.
Um, I mean, of my as far as my horror movies go.
Well, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Overall, my favorite movie I've done is Murder Anyone.
Nice. Nice. Okay.
Yeah. But that's not a horror movie. It's a comedy.
That you know, when you do a film like that, you probably throw your horror fans off, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. Man, believe it or not, I haven't done a horror movie in a very long time. It's funny, I stopped doing horror movies back in like 2017 as a
Okay.
director. But I've still because that's when I started doing action.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and so I've been doing action for the past couple years now.
Nice.
But I'll probably come back to horror soon. I'm only gonna come back to horror if they give me a real budget. I want real budgets. Real budgets.
Hey, you want to bring in the Bray Wyatt or Taker for a wrestling horror movie? I'm sure they'll put out the money.
Yeah,
I
there
think,
you go.
doesn't the WWE have their own film studio?
Yeah, they do, but I mean, I'm sure they've been pitched those movies already.
That's true. That's true.
They don't need me to tell them, "Hey, you can make a movie with these guys."
I know.
I'm sure I'm sure they've been pitched it.
And I know you do a lot of horror cons too, and as you know by now, like the horror fan base is very loyal. And how,
Yeah.
how's it like being at horror conventions, like meeting and greeting the fans?
Cons are awesome, man, and the fans are amazing. Fans are awesome, and shit. Sometimes they know more about your movies than you do. you know, they know way more about your stuff than you do. You'll be like, oh shit, oh yeah, totally right. Oh yeah, like they know way more about stuff. You'll be like, oh crap, I forgot about that.
Wait, that was in that movie? Are you sure about that?
Yeah. I'm like, oh wow.
Nice. And what are some horror films you actually like watching?
Well, I mean, I'm the biggest like Frank Henenlotter nerd, so I like Brain Damage, Basket Case, but I also like honestly, I love Hellraiser. I love
Mhm.
the Chucky movies. I love
Yes.
I love Friday the 13th. I love old school Full Moon, like Head of the
Yeah.
Family, and like the old Full Moon stuff, or even like some of the newer Full Moon, but not the new Full Moon, like stuff like the Ginger Dead Man.
Yes. Yes.
But like the first Ginger Dead Man, where Gary Busey was like the Ginger Dead
That
Man.
was hysterical.
Yeah, like when it was back at like Blockbuster Ginger Dead Man, and
Yeah.
like that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Or like like I like the like the 13 Ghosts.
Oh,
That was
that
pretty.
was a good
That was
one.
dope. Yeah. But I just like good horror, man. I like good horror. I go on Tubi, browsing for good
Yeah.
horror all the time, man. So and
Yeah.
Shudder.
Shudder's great, of course. Like they got thousands and thousands of horror movies, but if you don't want to pay a subscription, the best thing is to be like. I mean, all the
Yeah,
horror
Tubi
movies are
is sick.
free,
Yeah, Tubi's sick.
but Shutter, I got that app too. So like, I
Yeah.
mean, it's not much. I think it's like $5.99 or something like that. But
Yeah, no, Tubi's sick though.
yeah, oh yeah, they got some really good horror movies on there. I that's one of the apps I watch all the time because you know, you can't go wrong with all the horrors. And what do you like doing during your free time, if you ever have any free time when you're
I
not
like
writing
watching.
direct?
I like watching movies, man. Watching movies.
Okay, okay. And what about songs? Like, what kind of music is on your playlist?
Oh man, I listen to like a lot of old school stuff. So I listen to like, old rock and roll or like 90s hip hop or like the old stuff like Bing Crosby and like,
Yeah, yeah.
like Roy Orbison or like,
Nice.
like Frank Sinatra, Elvis.
Okay, okay. Sweet, sweet. And if you were doing a karaoke song, what would be your song?
Queen. I would do Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh my God, that would definitely get everybody like
Yeah, you gotta get
singing
everybody
along.
in. Yeah, you gotta get everybody in, man. You gotta get them hype.
Yes. See, that's what I would do. I mean, I've done a couple of karaoke bars and I always pick a song where the crowd sings with me because my voice is horrible.
You gotta get them in, man. You gotta get them in.
Yeah, exactly. And Halloween season is coming up, and I'm sure you're a big fan of the season, just like I am. So do you ever go visit the haunted houses and the hay
Oh
rides and
yeah,
all
I
that
go to
fun
all of
stuff?
them. I go to all of them. I've already gone to 3, man. I went to
Wait,
this.
really?
I went to this thing called Delusion over here. It's
Okay.
amazing. It's insane. It's like living out a horror movie. I already did. I
Where's
already did. Uh,
where's that at?
it's in Pomona. It's like the craziest thing I've ever done. It's amazing. I
Oh
can't
my
recommend it enough. It's amazing. Go do it. Delusion. It's literally like living a horror movie. Go do
Get
it.
out,
It's
really?
better than any haunt I've ever done. And then I
Oh
did
my
Reign
God.
of Terror. That's like a really fun haunt.
Okay.
And then I also did Valley Frights. So I already did 3. And then I'm gonna do a few more, but Delusion is like unlike anything.
I'm
Like I
actually
don't want to
writing that
ruin it,
down.
but like it's Delusion's insane. Like you have to do it because you're just like, wow, like this is like it's like it's like literally like being thrown into a Resident Evil video game.
Wait, are you serious?
Yes. It's
Oh,
like
oh my
living
God,
in
I
a
definitely have
Resident
to
Evil
try
game.
that.
You have to do it. You have to do it. It's amazing.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay. Did you ever go to like Universal Horror Nights too?
Yeah,
And
yeah, I do that all the time. But like this is like on another level. This is like,
really, so
you
that's like
gotta do this
that
thing.
blows that out of the water.
Blows it out of the water. Blows it out of the
Wow.
water. You have to do
Wow.
this thing.
Oh my God. Yeah. As soon as I'm done, I'm like looking it up and seeing what.
Delusion. Deliusion. Or email me and I can send it to you. But
Okay. All right.
it's
Sweet.
fucking
Yeah.
amazing. Or I'll
Oh
have
my
Parker
God.
send it to you. It's amazing.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Wow, sweet. Thank you. I've been looking for like new, because I
This
I
is the one. Like if you're only gonna do one, this is the one. This is the coolest thing that I've honestly ever done for Halloween season ever.
oh wow, okay. Because I go to the same ones like every year. I live in Philly, so I'm always going to like the Eastern State Penitentiary and
Oh,
stuff like that.
this is in Los Angeles. So
Hey,
this is
it's
over
worth
here.
it's worth a trip.
This was the coolest thing I've ever done.
Okay. All right, all right. Sweet. And do you go to Halloween parties too? Like, do you still
Oh yeah,
dress
man. I
dress
go.
up?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm going as Bane this year.
Really? That's awesome.
Maybe he's wondering why you would shoot the man before throwing him out of a plane.
Oh, nice, man. Nice.
Impressive.
And what about video gaming too? Are you a big fan of that at all? Or
Oh yeah, man. Can't wait till the new God of War comes out. Cha-ching. I'm gonna play it. I'm out there.
what about, did you hear they're making a Killer Clowns video
Oh,
game?
yeah, but I'm not too excited because I hear it's the same mechanics of the. I mean, I love Killer Clowns from Outer Space, but I hear
Yeah.
it's the same mechanics of
like Evil Dead and the Friday the 13th video game, which is like that style of game, and with the online play. And I'm more of a story based games guy.
Yeah, exactly.
People
That's what
like
I love.
those games, and I'm like, I understand why they do, but I'm more so like I like playing the story mode games.
That's what I like
Because like
too.
from a
That's
story
what I thought that was
player
going to be.
aspect, yeah, I know people like love Overwatch. I can't get into that.
Yeah.
Like I only really get into stories. Like the game I play has to have a story. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
I can't get into any of those other things unless it's a fighting game. Like if like I could do like Mortal Kombat, like, you know, versus somebody, because that's a quick thing. I can't get into those, like, you know, run around hide things.
Well, one of my like one of the video games I love playing, like you said, storylines and all, Until Dawn. Like that's one of my favorite games. I love that game.
Dope. Yeah, I got to check that one out.
Oh, okay. So you haven't played that yet?
No, I have a lot of friends that are like addicted to it, but I haven't played it. I have it, but I haven't played it. I got it.
Okay.
PlayStation made it for free. They made it for free at like that. Like with PlayStation Plus, it was like free for like a while.
Really?
And so I like hit the download button. So I have it, but I haven't played it.
Okay, all right.
Oh wait, no. I played Until Dawn. I beat Until Dawn. Sorry. I beat Until Dawn. That's the whole one with Rami Malek. I meant I haven't played Dead by Daylight.
Oh, okay.
Until Dawn, I beat the whole thing.
It's a really good game. Like it definitely
it's great.
into like the
I
horror
got like
world.
3 different endings of that.
Yeah, exactly.
And Galadriel Steinman, who's in it, she's the redhead in it. She's actually in Murder Anyone.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow, nice.
And then I have their new game, The Quarry, which they made. I still
haven't played that yet. I haven't played
it yet. I have it, but I haven't played it yet.
Yeah, same. I have it, but I haven't played it.
Because I want to play it when I have like, you know, a few days to just play it, because it seems like you got to just play it through, not like play and then stop and come back to it, and then, you know what I mean?
I know exactly. And do you have anything coming out that you want to plug? Like any
Murder Anyone, man. I got Murder Anyone hitting the festival circuits. So I hope people check that one out. A lot of love and a lot of heart went into that project. So I want people to see it.
Awesome. And where could fans follow you at?
At James Cullen B on Instagram, Twitter. And if you just yell it into the air, you know, that works also.
Okay, that's all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna yell your name into the air when I'm done.
It works. That works. It totally does. It works. You know.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day and coming on the show. It was really fun chatting.
Hey, it was great chatting with you too, man. Thank you so much.
Definitely, buddy. So definitely have a great day, man.
You too, man. Rock and roll. Hey, go to Pat's. Go to Pat's for me.
Okay, I will.
Get one with Wiz, man. Get one with Wiz.
Okay, deal.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
Bye.
Bye.